Hey guys, welcome back. So, I hope you watched my last video. I went over, the ramifications and the effects of the Kyle Schwarber signing with the Washington Nationals and how it may or may not affect the Yankees. That's down in the description down below, as well as a bunch of other recent videos too. If you're new to the channel, welcome. If you enjoyed this, please hit the subscribe button and the notification so you not only don't miss it, but you're also helping with the channel's growth. It helps other people who don't know about the channel know that it exists. So I appreciate your support. I want to talk about there's a player out there that nobody's really talking about, that they should be, in my opinion, for a trade. And he's got a lot of value. So I'm going to talk about the third base market. Who are the most popular names here? That are going to be free agents or who is a prime trade candidate. Number one is Nolan Arenado, who's locked up to, I think he has 7 years at $200 million left, so a lot of money, or maybe 6 years, $200 million left. So he's locked up, but he's the elite, best third baseman in the majors, in my opinion. Then you also have Kris Bryant, another elite superstar third baseman who's going to be a free agent after 2021, and he's going to get a $200+ million contract from somebody as well. Okay, and their fits, whether it be, and I would not be surprised if both of them got traded before the season starts. You have teams like the Dodgers looking for somebody to replace Justin Turner. The Nationals still have not, amply replaced Anthony Rendon. So there are teams out there that could use him, and so I would be on the lookout for that. And the Blue Jays, who never really replaced Josh Donaldson. So there are a lot of teams out there. And but there's a third baseman that no one's talking about, and that's Matt Chapman of the Oakland A's. He is a superstar third baseman. Now he's recovering from hip surgery that he had a couple months ago, so he's on his way back, obviously. But he is an elite offensive player and an elite defensive player at third base. He's only 27 years old, and he has 3 years of affordable control left before he becomes a free agent, making him a very attractive option. And this happens a lot with the Oakland A's. They develop players, they become really, really good and superstars, and they either trade them to teams and get a stockpile of prospects in return and kind of do the same thing. And when they become superstars, they get traded away because they don't really sign anybody to long-term big contracts, being a smaller market team, or guys like Marcus Semien, who they just can't get a qualifying offer, he rejects it, and he signs elsewhere, and they'll get a draft pick for him. And it's kind of nonstop with the A's recently. So I don't see him signing a long-term deal with the A's. So I think he's a prime candidate, and he would look really, really good in Dodger Blue. He'd look really, really good at Washington or Toronto. And Toronto already has a history with making trades. They traded for Josh Donaldson from the A's. So they've got a history with them already. And I think he would be more than capable. I imagine him in that lineup over there with Guerrero and Bichette and the rest of them. Like, that would be a crazy lineup. Or you put him in Washington now with Schwarber and Josh Bell and Soto and a bunch of these young guys, Keyboom and Trey Turner, like another one. Or the Dodgers. I mean, look at that freaking lineup over there. Mookie Betts, you got Bellinger, even though Seager might move at some point, but never really know. And all the other guys they have there, it's just remarkable. So could you imagine adding him to any one of those lineups? And again, he's got 3 years of team control left at a very affordable contract, so he would cost a pretty penny. There's no doubt about that. But those teams that I just mentioned all have the capacity to pony up for him. Washington's stockpile with pitching prospects. Dodgers have one of the top 5 system, and Toronto has a top farm system as well. So any one of those teams could afford him, and he would be more than adequate on any one of those teams. So I think he's a great candidate, and personally, I think he's probably a better fit on some of those teams than a Bryant, who I think is a better fit in Atlanta. And Arenado, I mean, I think he's eventually probably going to wind up in L.A., but I could be wrong. Could be wrong. I mean, if the A's make Matt Chapman available, or like Billy Beane, or whoever their GM is now, they tend to make these sneaky phone calls, and all of a sudden you wake up the next morning, the A's have made a huge trade. So there's never really much chatter about the A's. They just make these trades, and they're really good ones, and they're really, really good at, just like Tampa, they're really, really good at making shrewd and swift trades and developing players. that they can use in future trades. So, and they still remain a competitive team every year with a very low payroll. So, very well-run team. Now, obviously, establishing that Chapman is at prime health again is important, which they'll probably, would do before even entertaining a trade. But he's a prime candidate. I mean, I see 3 third basemen instead of 2. I see Chapman, Arenado, and Bryant. So I have him, and again, elite production on the offensive side. He is a righty hitter like the other 2 guys, but elite production, elite defensive production as well on the field. So he's an all-around third baseman, and he would be a really good fit on a lot of teams. So let me know what you think about that. I mean, if you've been thinking about it too, or if you're an A's fan, I want to know what you think. Who would you like in return for a Matt Chapman? I'd be really curious to know what teams, fans from other teams who would really like him would think about it and would be willing to kind of give up. Let's play mock GM here. I would have liked him on the Yankees had we not had Gio, but I think Gio is going to be more than adequate over there for the Yankees. So he's coming back from elbow surgery as well, but his recovery is going really well, and he should be ready for spring training. So I think Chapman's going to be ready, but they're saying March or April at full health. So not really much of a delay either. But he's a guy I would look out for in potential trades. And, you'd be getting a good one, a really good player with a Matt Chapman. So be on the lookout for that. So my next video after this, I'm gonna break out the whiteboard because I've had some folks request it. And I'm going to do my updated MLB free agent predictions. Now that we know some of the moves that teams have made, and it's kind of shaken up baseball a little bit, I'm going to do my updated predictions because some of the moves have changed based on moves that these teams have already made. Some are surprising, some are not. So it does have an effect on the free agent, in the free agent market, and particularly now that we don't even know what the season looks like right now. What's crazy is they're announcing, or they're saying that spring training is mostly going to start on time, pitchers and catchers, and spring training games at the end of February. But they haven't kind of decided on fans, those types of things yet. And I know they're going to be talking about it soon, but like the window for free agent signings is going to be like that big. So there's not going to be a lot of time. So teams are going to be very aggressive bringing in players. So, and teams are already making incremental moves right now, but it's going to be an absolute frenzy for like 3 weeks once, the floodgates are open. So I would look out for that, and it's going to be really interesting, and I think you're going to enjoy the video. And compare it to my other one. I'll put it in the description down below too. If you haven't seen the other one, take a look at it, and you'll see the difference between, who's gone, but where if I have some of these guys going to different teams, and I do have some of the guys going to different teams because of moves that the teams that I thought they were going to go to have already made. So be on the lookout for that. You're not going to want to miss it. And have a great week, and be safe, everybody, and be healthy. Talk to you next time.